Hi everybody, Chris here from Truly Holistic. Now I want to talk about collateral damage. Okay, if we're here as creators, okay, there is a correct pathway that we need to take to forge the reality we want to create, right? Which, any way we call it, we can call that our future. We can call that our path, our journey, right? Either way we want to call it. There is a correct pathway where we can create here without creating collateral damage. So when I mean collateral damage, that's collateral damage created through miscreation, okay? And this is how it connects into previous videos where talked about the difference or the polarities between mind and consciousness, that through the limitations of the mind, that the mind is connected to the human, which the human is then connected in a sliver of spectrum. You know, we're talking about less than 0.05% of the electromagnetic spectrum of light. Is that when we are being orientated by the mind, just a gentle way of saying mind controlled, we are making decisions, we're making choices based on what that mind is telling us and what it knows. And if it is connected to an aspect of reality that is only a sliver of that electromagnetic spectrum of light, then we're going to kind of hit the mark. We're going to miscreate, right, a number of times. And so that creates collateral damage as we go along. And what I'm finding within sessions is, yes, we make an emphasis to remove those miscreations. But usually the next step we'll do is quite often it will tell me to wand an area. And what that means is we take a little subtle energy device like this. It could be what I've got on my website, the beamer. But we use this other little energy device here majority of the time, which is a tool that I've developed here at Truly Holistic. But it could be also any form of wand. And what we do is we get the anatomy booklet as a guide or a reference to an area that we need to go and wand. And then what we'll do is quite often it will tell me to go through all the pages. So that means we're going to look at the digestive system, we're going to look at the respiratory system, the nervous system, lymphatic system, and so on. And I'm just going to run my hand or this wand over the page, and my consciousness is going to direct me to the areas that we need to wand. And when we wand, immediately this rotates in a vortex in a counterclockwise manner, which is what we call inverting entropy. And by inverting entropy, we are restoring balance to the areas that have been affected by this, creating collateral damage from mind miscreations. So what we do by inverting entropy, we flip field that is unstructured, okay, which is chaotic is a key word, into field that is restoring it back to a structured form where it's more in harmony. Okay, we could say it in a number of ways. Changing a field that is a state where it's placing all the odds against you, chaotic, and then restoring an energy field that then now the odds are in your favor. Okay, so because the simple thing of this from a quantum perspective is that, and I love to use this analogy a lot, of the projector. Okay, the projector is beaming, projecting light out of it, all these different spectrums of light and colors of light. And when that light, you know, there's no form to it, there's no image there until it hits a screen or a wall, and therefore that projection of light from the projector hitting the wall then creates an image, a holographic form, which is the human. Okay, from the human perspective, we're physical, we're pliable, we're physical, but from a quantum perspective, we're just a projection of light. We're a hologram in this holographic reality or simulated reality. Now, so what do we need? We need light, okay? And we also need the field, and the field is that wall, okay? Or that screen that light will hit then to project an image, okay? So something's been coming up recently in regards to the polarity of light, which is your consciousness, and field, which is then allows that light to be projected into an image. Okay, and Now, if that field, let's say your liver, for example, is not structured, it's in an unstructured form, the field of the liver, and it's a chaotic field, that light that we're trying to restore, that's bringing in those downloads of information, that is allowing that area of your body to continually evolve or ascend, when it hits the liver, it can't stick because the field's chaotic and unstructured. So when that light hits it, it can't hold that projection. Okay? So therefore it can't hold that form. So while it's unstructured, it can't take any new downloads. So therefore it cannot evolve that aspect of your liver. So when we use this subtle device and then invert entropy by flipping it from an unstructured form to a structured field, we allow that liver to become like a solar panel for your light, for it to absorb and hold that new projection of light that is coming from your own consciousness. Which is different to the mind. You've got to understand, the mind is wanting to create chaotic field. So therefore, creating collateral damage of the liver. Because that's what's going to happen, because the liver can no longer take in new downloads. Okay? So therefore, what's going to happen on the physical level? It's going to degenerate. Okay, that's what degeneration is. Okay, so there's two things here. We obviously want to be connected to our light, our consciousness, not the mind, to bring through those downloads, that light in, okay, which is going to continually evolve that area of your body, but also to keep the field. So again, that analogy of the light coming from the projector, hitting that wall, that screen, to create that image, that projection we want it to be. We need that field of that liver to be in a structured form so it will hold that light or that new projection. Okay, so you can see how all these things connect with each other, okay, into restoring balance, equilibrium, vitality in regards to that area of your body. And that could be your liver, that could be any gland, that could be any organ, that could be any aspect of what we call the human body. Okay? So when we look at our world out there, externally that we see out there, a lot of what we see systematically out there in the world, okay, whether it's in regards to politics or the system of politics or the system of our healthcare and all these other aspects, they're all created through the mind, because it's chaos out there. It's chaos, right? The world is bred from this chaotic energy, a field out there that is unstructured. Okay, so when we go out there, we go into the world to work within that systematic approach. That world out there thrives on that, but we don't. Right? We don't, because that world out there is trying to create chaos. So therefore that creates you to be unstructured. So therefore things degenerate in you, because those parts of your body that need those downloads to evolve cannot hold that information or that energy or that light to continually evolve and ascend. And that's why we really promote and recommend all the tensor technology tools that I create, and I create only through guidance. My guides are telling me to create these tools, and and that's how I got into making these tools to start off with, because they were giving me these ideas, these qubit measures to anchor in these frequencies, that if we wear them as a pendant or wear them as a bracelet or put it on our water that we drink and all these things, it's trying to maintain your field as much as we can to remain structured, to remain in harmony. So therefore, it can then take on these new downloads or light or information that your consciousness is always trying to bring through to you, to continually evolve this projection of you here as the human. Okay? So it was an interesting clearing we did with a client today, and it was all about igniting, restoring someone's image, which I found really exciting. And it brought the polarity of light and field. Again, backing that analogy of the projector, putting out the light, then hitting the wall. And the wall, to create the image, or that screen, is the field. Okay, the light is your consciousness. So the consciousness relationship with the field, okay, and trying to create something within this holographic reality. And what we had to do for this particular client, he was having issues with vertigo. And he was like, he'd be talking to his wife in one direction, and then he'd shift his head to there, and the room would be going spinning. And what it was trying to tell me was that there was an issue with that polarity of light and then the field, and that the light projection from his consciousness needed to be realigned with the ignition of the field, what he was experiencing out here. So that was really interesting. And hence I wanted to do this video for you and share it with you. So I hope you really enjoyed the video. So this is what we work on here at Truly Holistic. We're really pioneers in evolving what healing's going to be in the future, but providing it to you now. The whole thing about Ascension is to evolve and grow and to look at things in different ways, but to let go of wisdom that once you had, but it's not really compatible to where we are now. And the thing that my guides always, as a kind of summary to this video, is my guides always telling me that wisdom is not there to be held on to or accumulated. We don't want to ever hold on to anything. All we require is that wisdom, the right wisdom, to be at the right place in the right time. And how we do that is not by holding informational wisdom that we learned a year ago, 2 years ago, a decade ago. It's about creating and holding a space, which we call a state of being present, being in the now, which allows us as the interface to bring that inner wisdom from the higher aspects of ourselves as our soul and a collective of selves, ourselves as a source of energy. And if we allow that conduit connection, it will always bring us through the wisdom we require at that moment. Because we're not living in the limitations of time or distance, okay? We need to remove ourselves from that. We need to live in the infinite now, which is an infinite moment after a moment. And creating the right space so that wisdom that we already have, all of us already have, allowing that to come through and being brought through when we require, at the right time, at the right place, okay? And then letting it go. So we can then have our full awareness into the next moment, and then into the next moment, and into the next moment. And if we create that space for ourselves, we'll always have that guidance, that information that is needed for that time, that place, and that situation. Till next time.